The sun rose over Earth, casting a warm glow on the ruins of cities that once thrived with life. Skyscrapers, which had touched the sky, now stood broken and silent. The air, once filled with laughter and the hum of technology, was eerily still. In the shadows of this devastated world, humanity faced its darkest hour. In a grand war room aboard the alien flagship Elysium, the leaders of the invading forces gathered. They were a mix of various alien species, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. They had come together with one goal: to eradicate humanity, whom they believed posed a significant threat to the galaxy. The leader of the coalition, a tall alien named Zorgoth, stood at the head of the table. His green skin glimmered in the dim light, and his eyes burned with a fierce ambition. "We have done what no other race could do," Zorgoth declared, his voice booming. "Humanity is no more. The galaxy is safe from their madness." The other leaders cheered, raising their weapons in celebration. They were confident that their victory was complete, but they had no idea that remnants of humanity still existed, hidden in the shadows. As the aliens reveled in their success, a lone survivor named Mia was fighting for her life. Mia was one of the few humans left. She had lost her family, her friends, and her home to the ruthless alien attacks. Now she lived in a small underground bunker, far from the chaos above. Every day was a struggle for survival. She scavenged for food and supplies, always on high alert, knowing that the aliens could return at any moment. One night, while Mia searched through the rubble of a collapsed building, she stumbled upon a group of survivors. They were tired and scared, but relieved to find each other. Together, they decided to form a resistance. They knew they couldn't just sit and wait to be hunted down. They needed to fight back. Meanwhile, back on the Elysium, Zorgoth and his council were blinded by their arrogance. They believed that the destruction of humanity was complete. They had no idea that a group of survivors was planning a counterattack. As they celebrated, strange occurrences began to unfold around the ship. Reports of sabotage and disruptions in their supply lines came in, but the aliens dismissed them as mere technical errors. "They are just stories, old wives' tales to scare the weak," Zorgoth scoffed, waving his hand dismissively. "Humanity is dead. We must focus on expanding our empire." However, one alien leader, a cunning strategist named Varys, felt differently. He watched the celebrations with a growing sense of unease. "What if we are wrong?" he asked, his voice low but urgent. "What if there are survivors? What if they have united?" Zorgoth laughed. "Do not let fear cloud your judgment, Varys. We have seen their weakness. They fought bravely, but they were ultimately no match for us." As the days passed, the surviving humans worked tirelessly, honing their skills and creating weapons from whatever they could find. Mia, now a leader among them, inspired hope and resilience. She knew that humanity's spirit could not be extinguished so easily. Back on the Elysium, Varys continued his investigation. He gathered intelligence and found clues that pointed to the existence of the human resistance. He realized that the aliens had made a grave mistake in underestimating their enemy. With every passing moment, the tension grew. The aliens celebrated their false victory, while the humans prepared for a fight. The galaxy was about to witness a resurgence of humanity, one that the aliens had thought they had eradicated forever. Little did Zorgoth and his allies know that the very species they sought to eliminate was rising from the ashes, ready to strike back with a vengeance. The fate of both humans and aliens hung in the balance, and the next chapters of their stories were about to unfold in ways neither side could imagine. As the night fell over the broken cities of Earth, the winds whispered tales of survival, resilience, and an unyielding spirit. The war was far from over. In the heart of the alien flagship Elysium, a dark cloud of doubt began to gather. While Zorgoth and his council celebrated their supposed victory over humanity, whispers of a different story reached the ears of Varys. As he pored over reports, he could no longer ignore the strange happenings that plagued their supply lines. Equipment malfunctioned, patrols reported shadows in the dark, and communications went missing. It was as if an unseen force was at work. Determined to uncover the truth, Varys called for a meeting with Zorgoth. "We must investigate these reports," he urged, his voice steady yet filled with urgency. "If there are survivors, we could be facing a new threat." Zorgoth dismissed him with a wave of his hand. "You worry too much, Varys. Humans are weak. They cannot survive the destruction we have wrought." But Varys was not convinced. He felt the tension rising in the air. "I have seen their resilience," he insisted. "They may have found a way to survive. We cannot underestimate them." Reluctantly, Zorgoth agreed to send a small reconnaissance team to investigate the outskirts of the cities where reports of sabotage originated. Little did they know that this decision would change everything. Meanwhile, deep beneath the rubble of what was once a vibrant city, Mia and her group of survivors were working hard. They had formed a tight-knit community, sharing resources and knowledge. They knew they were fighting against incredible odds, but each day brought new hope. Mia had become a beacon of strength, inspiring her fellow survivors to believe in the possibility of a brighter future. As Mia gathered the group, she laid out their plans. "We need to be smart. We have to hit them where it hurts," she said, her voice steady. "They may think they have won, but we will show them that humanity is not easily extinguished." The survivors began scouting their surroundings, looking for the best places to strike. They observed the alien patrols, taking note of their movements and weaknesses. With each day that passed, they grew bolder and more determined. One evening, while they were planning their next move, one of the survivors, a tech-savvy young man named Leo, stumbled upon something remarkable. "I found a working communication device," he exclaimed, holding it up like a treasure. "If we can use this, we can send a message to other survivors and unite our forces." The group erupted in cheers. They quickly set to work, patching up the device and testing it. Soon, they were able to send out a message to anyone still alive, calling for unity and strength. Back on the Elysium, Varys received a report from his reconnaissance team. They had found signs of human activity in the city ruins. It was clear that there were still survivors and they were preparing for something big. "We must act now," Varys urged Zorgoth. "If we do not crush them quickly, we risk losing everything we have gained." Zorgoth's expression shifted from arrogance to concern. "Gather our forces. We will not let them rise again." As the alien forces mobilized, the human survivors continued to grow stronger. With Leo's communication device, they were able to connect with other hidden groups. Messages of hope spread across the ruins, igniting a fire in the hearts of those who had lost so much. Mia took charge of the training, teaching her group how to use the weapons they had scavenged. "We may be outnumbered," she said, "but we have something they don't, the will to fight for our home and our future." With every training session, the survivors became more skilled. They learned to move silently through the rubble, to strategize effectively, and to support each other. They were no longer just hiding. They were preparing for battle. The day of reckoning was approaching. Varys and Zorgoth began to realize the severity of the situation. The humans were not just surviving, they were planning their revenge. As the tension escalated, both sides prepared for what was to come. The alien forces readied themselves to crush the human resistance, while the survivors steeled their hearts for the fight of their lives. In the shadows of the ruined cities, hope blossomed amid despair, and the signs of life emerged stronger than ever. Humanity was ready to fight back, and the aliens were about to discover that they had underestimated their enemy once more. The atmosphere on the alien flagship Elysium was tense. Zorgoth paced back and forth, frustration growing in his chest. Reports continued to flood in about human activity, but he refused to accept that the humans could still pose a threat. "They are weak and scattered," he muttered to himself. "We will crush them once and for all." Meanwhile, on Earth, the spirit of humanity was reigniting. Mia and her band of survivors had become a formidable force. Their training sessions were intense, with every member growing stronger and more skilled. They practiced in the ruins of their former cities, moving like shadows among the rubble. Each day, they pushed their limits, becoming faster and more precise. Mia had taken on the role of a leader and a teacher. She motivated her group with her fiery determination. "We must fight for our home," she shouted during training. "We have lost so much, but we can't lose hope. Together we are strong!" One evening, as the group gathered around a small fire, Mia suggested a bold plan. "We need to send a clear message to the aliens," she said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "Let's launch a surprise attack on one of their supply depots. If we can disrupt their resources, we'll show them that we are still alive and ready to fight." The group erupted in cheers, excitement coursing through them. They began to strategize, using maps of the area they had gathered from their scouting missions. Leo, the tech expert, suggested using the communication device to intercept alien communications during the attack. "If we can understand their movements, we can outsmart them," he said confidently. As the survivors planned their attack, the aliens were also preparing. Varys, now the leading strategist, was focused on gathering intelligence. He spent long hours studying reports of human activity, determined to find a way to end the resistance. "They are not as weak as we thought," he warned Zorgoth. "We must take this seriously. If we allow them to strike, we will lose our grip on this planet." Zorgoth finally acknowledged Varys's concerns, though his arrogance still lingered. "Very well," he said reluctantly. "We will increase patrols around our supply lines and prepare for an attack. But we will not underestimate our power. Humanity is still beneath us." Back on Earth, the time for the attack had come. Under the cover of darkness, Mia's group moved silently through the shadows. They were nervous but filled with a fierce determination. They reached the alien supply depot, a heavily guarded area filled with weapons and resources. The glow of alien lights illuminated the night sky, casting eerie shadows around the building. "Remember the plan?" Mia whispered, her voice steady despite the tension. "We stick together. We are here to disrupt, not to engage unless necessary." The group nodded, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. As they approached the depot, they noticed a small group of aliens patrolling the perimeter. Mia signaled to her team, and they moved stealthily, avoiding detection. They had studied the alien patrols well, and their training paid off. They reached the entrance of the depot, where Leo worked on hacking the security system. "Just a few more seconds," he whispered, his fingers flying over the device. Finally, the door clicked open and the group rushed inside. The sight before them was overwhelming, crates filled with weapons, supplies, and alien technology stacked high. "Let's get to work," Mia urged. They split up, quickly planting explosives in key areas while gathering supplies. But just as they began to feel a sense of victory, alarms suddenly blared through the depot. The aliens had detected their presence. "Move! We need to get out now!" Mia shouted, adrenaline pumping through her veins. The group raced through the shadows, hearts racing. They could hear the aliens yelling in panic as they realized they were under attack. As they escaped into the night, they detonated the explosives. A deafening explosion shook the ground, lighting up the sky and sending a shock wave through the air. The survivors watched as flames erupted from the depot, signaling their triumph. In the chaos, they sprinted away, feeling a rush of exhilaration and hope. They had dealt a significant blow to the aliens, showing them that humanity was far from defeated. Back on the Elysium, Varys watched the destruction through the ship's monitors, his expression darkening. "This is just the beginning," he warned Zorgoth. "We have underestimated them for too long." As the aliens scrambled to regroup, Mia and her team celebrated their victory. They felt stronger, united in their mission to reclaim their world. The message was clear: humanity was alive and they were ready to fight back. The tides were turning, and the battle for Earth had only just begun. The explosion at the alien supply depot sent shockwaves throughout the Elysium. Zorgoth paced angrily in his command chamber, glaring at the monitors that displayed the aftermath of the attack. "This is unacceptable!" he bellowed. "How could a handful of humans cause such chaos?" Varys stood by, studying the screens with a grim expression. "They are no longer the weak creatures we thought," he replied. "They are organizing, and their attacks are becoming more coordinated. We must adapt our strategy." Zorgoth scoffed, but he could see the truth in Varys's words. The humans had shown remarkable resilience. "What do you suggest?" he snapped. "We need to consider alliances," Varys said, a plan forming in his mind. "There are factions among the other alien races who despise us. If we can persuade them to join our cause, we could crush the humans together." Zorgoth raised an eyebrow. "You think we can gain the trust of our enemies? They may turn on us as easily as they would on the humans." "We have little choice," Varys insisted. "If we do nothing, the humans will only grow stronger. We must act quickly." Back on Earth, Mia and her team celebrated their victory, but they knew the fight was far from over. News of their attack spread quickly among other survivor groups. People began to gather, inspired by the bravery shown at the supply depot. It was a pivotal moment for humanity. Mia addressed the new arrivals, her voice filled with hope and determination. "Together we can take back our planet," she proclaimed. "But we must be smart about it. We need allies, too. There are other survivors out there, and we need to reach them." A young woman named Tara stepped forward. "I've heard rumors of a hidden group near the mountains. They have supplies and weapons, but they are cautious. They may not trust us right away." "We need to convince them," Mia replied. If we can unite our forces, we can stand against the aliens more effectively. With her mind set, Mia organized a small team, including Leo and Tara, to seek out the hidden group. The journey to the mountains was dangerous. The survivors moved carefully, always on the lookout for alien patrols. As they traveled, they shared stories of loss and hope, strengthening their bonds. Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that they were not alone in this fight. After days of traveling, they reached the mountain hideout. It was a hidden cave, surrounded by thick trees and rocks. The entrance was guarded by wary eyes, but Mia stood tall. "We come in peace," she called out, her voice echoing in the silence. "We are survivors just like you. We seek an alliance against the aliens." The guards hesitated, exchanging glances. Finally, an older man stepped forward. "We have heard of your exploits, but we do not trust easily. What can you offer us?" Mia took a deep breath, her heart racing. "We can offer you strength in numbers. Together we can plan coordinated attacks and share resources. We can fight for our home and for the future of humanity." The older man considered her words carefully. "Very well," he said finally. "You may enter, but know this. If you betray us, we will not hesitate to fight back." Inside the cave, Mia and her team were introduced to the hidden group. They met survivors from different backgrounds, each with unique skills and experiences. Mia spoke passionately about their shared goal of reclaiming Earth from the aliens. "We are stronger together," she insisted. "Let's unite our forces, share our knowledge, and plan our next steps." As the discussions progressed, Varys worked tirelessly aboard the Elysium to solidify alliances among other alien races. He contacted leaders of disgruntled factions, appealing to their resentment toward Zorgoth's rule. "If we unite against the humans," he argued, "we can end this threat once and for all. Together, we are stronger." Slowly, but surely, Varys began to gain traction. Several factions expressed interest, seeing a chance to reclaim power and status. They agreed to meet in a neutral location, a small moon on the outskirts of the galaxy. As the negotiations began, Varys stood before the gathered leaders. "This is our opportunity," he declared. "The humans think they can rise against us, but we will show them the strength of unity." Back on Earth, the newly formed alliance among the survivors was taking shape. They trained together, combining their skills and knowledge. The survivors felt a sense of hope that had long been absent. With each passing day, they grew more united and determined to fight back. Mia felt the power of their alliance and knew they were on the verge of something big. As they prepared for the next steps, both sides were unaware that the tides of war were shifting, and the stakes were higher than ever. The battle for Earth was heating up, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Allies were forming, and soon, both the humans and the aliens would be forced to confront the strength of unity, for better or worse. In the shadows of the alien flagship Elysium, Zorgoth seethed with anger. The recent attack on their supply depot by the humans had shaken his confidence. Monitors flashed images of destruction, and his subordinates moved about, trying to restore order. "These humans have proven to be more than just pests," he growled. "We must act decisively." Varys, the ship's strategist, stood at a console studying the data. "Zorgoth, we must reconsider our approach," he advised. "The humans are organizing and gaining strength. If we don't shift our strategy, we risk losing everything." Zorgoth's eyes narrowed. "What do you suggest?" "Forming alliances," Varys replied. "There are other races in the galaxy who resent our power. If we can convince them to join our cause, we could crush the humans once and for all." Zorgoth frowned. "You think they will trust us? Our enemies could turn on us as easily as they would turn on the humans." "It's a risk we must take," Varys insisted. "We cannot ignore the threat they pose. The longer we wait, the stronger they become." Meanwhile, on Earth, Mia and her team were buzzing with excitement after their successful raid on the alien depot. They had gathered not just supplies, but also hope. The news of their victory spread quickly among the scattered survivor groups, igniting a fire of determination. "We need to unite with other groups," Mia told her team. "If we want to stand a chance, we can't do it alone. We must find allies who share our goals." Tara, a quick-thinking member of Mia's group, spoke up. "I've heard rumors of another survivor group in the mountains. They have resources but are cautious about outsiders. It might take time to gain their trust. Then we'll show them what we can do," Mia said, her voice filled with confidence. "Let's go meet them and prove we're worth joining." The journey to the mountains was fraught with danger. They moved carefully, avoiding alien patrols and scouting the terrain. As they traveled, they shared stories of their losses and victories, which strengthened their bonds. Each member knew they were part of something bigger than themselves. Upon reaching the mountain hideout, a rugged cave hidden from the skies above, Mia took the lead. The entrance was guarded by several wary survivors, their expressions a mix of suspicion and curiosity. "We come in peace," Mia called out. "We are survivors like you. We seek to unite against the aliens." One of the guards stepped forward, an older man with a weathered face. "We've heard of your actions, but trust is hard to earn. What do you offer us?" Mia took a deep breath, her heart racing. "We can provide strength in numbers. Together, we can strike back against the aliens. We share resources and knowledge. We fight for our future." The older man considered her words. "All right," he said cautiously. "You may enter, but understand this. If you betray us, we will defend ourselves." Inside the cave, Mia and her team met the hidden group. They were a mix of individuals, each with their own skills and experiences. As Mia spoke about their shared goals, her passion ignited a spark of hope. "We must work together," she urged. "The aliens are strong, but we can be stronger if we unite." As the humans forged alliances, Varys worked tirelessly on the Elysium. He reached out to leaders of alien factions unhappy with Zorgoth's regime. "Join us," he urged. "Together we can eliminate the humans. They are a growing threat that must be stopped." Slowly, Varys began to gain support. A few factions agreed to meet him, eager for a chance to reclaim their power. He arranged a gathering on a distant moon where they could discuss their plans without fear of being overheard. At the meeting, Varys stood before the assembled leaders, his voice steady and persuasive. "We face a common enemy in the humans. If we unite our forces, we can eliminate them quickly and decisively." Back on Earth, Mia's newly formed alliance was beginning to take shape. The groups trained together, combining their skills and resources. The survivors felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose, knowing they were no longer alone in their fight. Mia felt the power of their alliance grow stronger every day. As they prepared for the next phase of their struggle, both sides were unaware that the balance of power was shifting rapidly. The humans and their new allies were on the brink of a confrontation, while the aliens were plotting their next moves with unexpected allies. The battle for Earth was heating up, and the stage was set for a showdown. Would the united strength of humanity prevail, or would the alien forces crush them once and for all? Only time would reveal the outcome of this epic struggle. The tension in the air was thick as Mia and her newly formed alliance prepared for the ultimate showdown against the alien forces. They had gathered in a hidden valley, a perfect spot for their last stand. Survivors from different groups set up makeshift camps, exchanging nervous glances and whispers. Everyone knew that this battle would determine the fate of humanity. Mia stood at the center of the gathering, her heart pounding with anticipation. She looked around at the faces of her allies, each one determined to fight for their home. "This is it," she began, her voice steady. "We have trained hard and united our strengths. We will not let the aliens take our planet without a fight." Cheers erupted from the crowd, filling the valley with energy. They had faced hardships, and now they stood together, ready to reclaim their world. Mia felt a surge of pride in her team, knowing they had come so far. Meanwhile, aboard the Elysium, Zorgoth paced angrily in his command chamber. "The humans dare to challenge us? They are nothing but insects," he shouted. Varys stood nearby, calm and collected. "They have united and gained confidence, Zorgoth. Underestimating them will be our downfall." "Enough of your warnings," Zorgoth snapped. "Prepare the fleet. We will crush them once and for all." As the alien forces mobilized, Mia and her allies finalized their battle plans. They had gathered weapons, supplies, and knowledge, but they knew it wouldn't be easy. "We need to hit them hard and fast," Mia explained. "Our best chance is to surprise them before they can fully organize." With everyone ready, Mia led her team to their positions. The valley was alive with excitement and fear as they waited for the enemy to arrive. Hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the land. Suddenly, the air was filled with the roar of alien ships. Dark clouds gathered as the Elysium and its fleet descended from the sky, a terrifying sight for the humans. Mia's heart raced as she spotted Zorgoth's flagship. "Stay focused," she shouted to her allies. "Remember why we fight!" The aliens landed and chaos erupted. The first shots were fired and the battle began. Mia led her team into the fray, dodging blasts and returning fire. She could hear the shouts of her comrades as they fought bravely against the overwhelming alien forces. As the battle raged on, Mia caught sight of Tara, who was pinned down by enemy fire. Without thinking, she sprinted across the battlefield, diving behind a rock for cover. "I'm here!" she shouted, firing at the aliens. Together, they fought off the attackers, providing each other with cover. Meanwhile, Varys was on the Elysium, orchestrating the attack. "Push them back!" he commanded. But he couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The humans were more resilient than he had anticipated. Zorgoth's anger boiled over as he watched his forces struggle against the humans. "Crush them! Show no mercy," he roared. He ordered a full-scale assault, unleashing more troops onto the battlefield. Despite the odds, Mia's team continued to fight. They worked together, covering each other and using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. With every alien they took down, their confidence grew. As the battle progressed, Mia spotted a small group of aliens attempting to flank her team. "We need to cut them off!" she yelled. With her allies following closely, they charged forward, taking the aliens by surprise. Their sudden counterattack shifted the tide in their favor. In a dramatic turn, Varys realized the humans were not backing down. He called for a retreat, but it was too late. The humans had gained the upper hand, and the alien forces began to falter. Seeing their opportunity, Mia rallied her team for one final push. "This is our chance! Let's finish this!" she shouted, leading the charge toward the Elysium. The sight of the flagship fueled their determination. As they approached, Zorgoth realized his forces were losing. In a desperate move, he ordered his last remaining ships to defend the flagship at all costs. But Mia and her allies fought fiercely, tearing through the remaining defenses. In a climactic moment, Mia found herself face to face with Zorgoth. "You will pay for what you've done to us," she declared, raising her weapon. With a final shot, she struck down the alien leader, sending shockwaves through the remaining forces. With Zorgoth defeated, the remaining alien troops lost their will to fight. One by one, they began to retreat, abandoning the battlefield. As the dust settled, Mia stood victorious with her allies. They had faced unimaginable odds, and now they had reclaimed their home. Cheers erupted among the survivors, and tears of joy filled Mia's eyes. They had fought together, and together they had won. "Today, we have proven that humanity is strong," Mia proclaimed, her voice echoing through the valley. "We will not be conquered. We are united, and we will rise again." The battle may have ended, but the fight for a better future was just beginning. The alliance forged in the fires of war would carry humanity forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.